To repay the favor of saving his life, this one-armed wild monkey has been in the temple for 16 years. 16 years here. She is loved by the 86-year-old donor. She loves to drink milk. Every time the nun goes down the mountain, always buy her milk. She likes to eat melon seeds. There is never a shortage of melon seeds in the nun's room. After eating it, she would rub it to help it digest. When she was unhappy, the nun would gently caress and comfort her. Even if she made a mistake, the nun would only pat her head a few times as a courtesy. Therefore, wherever the nun goes, she will follow. The hobbling person with a cane walks first, the limping monkey follows. Even if the owner reprimands her, she still follows. Just call it out and it will come out from hiding in the mountains. This one-armed monkey named Tintin has been lovingly cared for by a nun for more than 10 years. Tintin has long lost his wildness, her eyes are filled with gentleness. When the nun peeled fruit for it, it would sit there obediently waiting. That adorable appearance is like a child in kindergarten. Whatever the owner gives her, she will eat it, never snatching food from the owner's hand. Even when tourists give it food, it never tries to grab it, it eats every piece it takes, and always leaves the last piece for the tourists. If she comes across a dish she doesn't like, she will politely wave his hand to refuse, but if an old friend gives it to him, she will eat it for a bit and then politely refuse, or pretend to drop the food. Every time it sees an old friend on the mountain, it will imitate humans and smile. Every time an old friend comes down the mountain, she will see him off to the end of the road. Tintin is just a monkey, but he has learned how to think like a human, and how to observe facial expressions. It didn't like bananas. The nun said it was delicious, so it picked up the banana again and took big bites. When the owner cooks, it helps her peel onions. Even though it likes to eat onions, it definitely won't take a bite. When she was unfairly scolded by the nun, she would hide in a corner where there was no one and be sad. Unlike wild monkeys in the forest, Tintin treats kittens very gently. Every time the cat eats, it will stand quietly waiting behind to watch. The kind look towards the cat was exactly the same as the way the nun looked at it. It carefully catches the fleas on the cat's body, but also doesn't want to bother the cat. Sometimes it also wants to taste the cat's food, but when the cat looks back it immediately puts the food grain down. Some people say, Tintin is like a kind old person, exuding the elegance of Buddhism. But actually, when Tintin first came to this place, she was very violent and often harassed tourists visiting the temple. At times like that, the nun would pull her into the main hall and close the door, leaving her alone to repent there. Actually, Tintin behaves like that because it has been tortured and abused by humans. Initially Tintin and its herd lived in deep mountainous areas. When she was pregnant, she was looking for food when she accidentally got caught in a hunter's trap and she lost her left arm. At first the hunter sold it to a circus, but a kind person spent money to buy it back and release it back into the forest. Not long after, Tintin gave birth to 2 children, but at that time, the weather was very cold in winter and both children died. Tintin hugged them for a long time before letting them go. From then on it was filled with hatred and fear towards humans. Luckily, not long after she met a nun who changed her life. In fact, the nun was also a miserable person. She had 4 sons and 1 daughter. When her children were just grown up, her husband also died of illness. She went to the temple and from there became a nun. To keep her children from worrying, after 5 years at the temple, she decided to go down the mountain. But that night while she was sleeping, she dreamed that someone told her not to leave. The next day she met Tintin looking for food near the temple. At this time she was very skinny and was rummaging for food in the trash. This scene made the nun extremely sad. She thought that this might be fate. She decided not to go down the mountain anymore. She prepares food for Tintin every day, but she eats so much that sometimes the nun has to starve and give food to the monkey. It ate its fill and returned to the mountain to sleep. She considered the monkey as her own son, and did not hesitate to go to the mountains to pick bamboo shoots for Tintin to eat. From then on, they stuck together like 2 friends in the same situation, living happily together every day. But even though it is loved, it still thinks about its herd, and misses its 2 dead children. Sometimes it sits and looks far away with sad eyes. On one side is a mother monkey who lost her child, on the other side is a woman who lost her husband. They are together, warming each other. After more than 10 years of being together, they have come to regard each other as family. Every time the nun went down the mountain, she would quickly return because she was afraid Tintin would worry. Every time she returns, she brings Tintin's favorite food. But recently, due to health problems, the nun had to stay in the hospital for more than a month. Before leaving, Tintin held her hand for a long time and refused to let go. When the nun went down the mountain, the monkey followed behind to see her off for a while. After the nun left, Tintin always sat in a corner to wait. Even though other monks gave her food, she refused to eat. Sometimes Tintin still runs past her master's room and looks inside even though she knows the nun hasn't returned yet. Not finding the nun, she went down to the parking lot to wait because she knew this was where the nun left. Just like that, Tintin waited for a month and a half. Finally, the familiar figure it was waiting for returned. It expressed its excitement and joy. Before, Tintin was often angry and spoiled, but now she is more docile and obedient. Even though Tintin couldn't talk, the nun understood everything she wanted to say. The nun said that she would not leave while Tintin was still here and always attached to her. It saw her as family. This lion is planning to eat the tiger cub. This is a very rare sight. The female lion is playing with the tiger cub. When the mother tiger goes hunting, the female lion will take on the task of taking care of the cubs. They are actually a family. This happened when this lioness named Savano was very young. When she was a month old, her mother died while hunting. She cannot survive without her mother, so the rescuers made a decision. They let the lion cub live with the mother tiger and 2 cubs. The mother tiger accepted it and in hope of survival. At first the mother tiger was very surprised. She tried to push the lion cub away, but when she heard the pitiful cry of the lion cub, with a mother's instinct she adopted the lion cub along with her 2 newly born tiger cubs. Under the care of mother tiger named July, the lion cub gradually grew up. After being 3 years old, the 2 tigers left their mother. Only Savano the lion remained with her. Mother tiger taught Savano how to hunt. The lion are also very hard-working. The caught prey will be distributed by the mother tiger. Savano is a grateful lion. After the mother tiger gave birth to her next cubs, the lion took very good care of the cubs like a sister in the family. And the tiger cubs also love to play with their lion sister. One day Savano called out for mother tiger July to come back because a tiger cub was lost. The mother tiger followed the scent and found the cub and brought it home. Savano also found another tiger cub, who also imitated July, holding the cub in his mouth to take him home. The relationship between mother tiger and lion is very special. Have you seen any similar cases before? Strange story, a crow adopted an orphan kitten. This kitten has been wandering, starving for days. It sought refuge in the yard of an old couple's house. The elderly couple Wallace and Annie saw the poor cat. They went inside the house to bring him a plate of food. But the cat's meow attracted something unexpected, and it took on the responsibility of taking care of the kitten. They couldn't believe their eyes. A crow and a cat were walking together. They thought the crow would eat the cat, but it turned out to be the opposite. The crow flies around. It goes looking for food and seeds, not for it but for the kitten to eat. It also holds water in its mouth for the kitten to drink. The couple could not believe their eyes. 2 hostile species suddenly became friends. The cat gradually recovered its strength. Cat and crow become best friends. They witnessed the miraculous power of animals. They called the veterinarian to ask for advice. And people thought they were joking. But the old couple's sure words silenced them. If you're sure that what you're telling is true, make a video, because no one will believe it. So they used the camera to film the whole incident. The crow is taking care of an orphan cat. The natural world constantly surprises them. It helped the cat survive. The cat and the crow have nothing in common. They differ in both appearance and instinct, but that does not stop them from becoming a family. Both are lost and distant from their own kind. Together, they become strong, and love heals all wounds. Soon the cat matured and became hyperactive. It doesn't have a mother to teach it to deal with dangers like passing traffic on the road. But the crow did not hesitate to act. It shows protective instincts and calls out as if it wants to give orders. The raven's intense cry helped bring the kitten back. Kittens are very obedient to crows. The crow becomes the adoptive mother of the kittens. The kitten grows up to be beautiful and naughty. Its energy has no limits. It can injure its friend while playing together. The elderly couple watched closely. But cat and crow taught them a valuable lesson. The cat and the crow are so close to each other that they learn to move as one. They know how to play with each other without hurting each other. Their destiny is bound together because of love. There is no rivalry or enmity between them. But the crow will have to step aside, because the kitten is now an adult and it no longer eats seeds. So the old couple decided to come closer, and feed the kitten more suitable food. The crow is very alert, testing the food before the kittens taste it. But it has learned to trust people. So the 4 became a family. The kitten bravely entered the house. It spent the night with the elderly couple. The crow did not dare to enter the house, but every morning the crow flew and perched on the window, looking for its friend. The crow and the cat have overcome all difficulties together. To them, the difference didn't matter at all. If you want, there's always room for love.